Чи ви знаєте номера статей?
Do you know, are you aware of particular articles in the criminal code of Ukraine which were already used to put people to jail for cybercrime? Any ideas? 361? Article 361? Or was it just a random idea? No, it's not. It was not random. Yeah, Article 361. Do we have such an article? Yeah, and people were put to jail? Yeah? Yes. Yeah, these things, as well as many others, will be discussed by Pavlo Zhavoronkov from IPAM company. Let us welcome Pavlo about cybercrime, about things that people go to jail for. Yeah, hi NoNameCon. Today we will be talking about Ukrainian courts and how Ukrainian courts use those articles of the criminal code in Ukraine, which sentences they issue, and we will discuss some best known, most resonant cases about Ukrainian citizens, Ukrainian hackers, which have been known worldwide. So let us start. I'm Pavlo Zhavoronkov. I work for IPAM, but my hobby is to learn something new. So I decided that I will try and learn how our Ukrainian courts work and apply such complicated articles of the criminal code from section 16 of the criminal code, crime using computers and so on. And there are some of the most interesting articles from that section, including Article 361, illegal hacking into computer networks, and 361.1, creation and dissemination of malware. And the plan of my presentation is as follows. I will tell you about my research on those court cases, court trials, then we'll discuss some well-known hackers, and we'll speak about some of the most interesting cases which took place in Ukrainian courts and how those courts handle those cases. Why do we need discussing all those things? Why have I decided to talk about them? First of all, this is a very difficult issue. We'll see some cases like MalwareTech, and there was a court trial in the US. He already admitted, pleaded guilty, and we don't know what sentence will be issued there. I think that even in the US, the system of punishment for cybercrime is far from being ideal yet. The global community does not know for sure what to do about it, and of course Ukrainian courts have something to do in this area. Second, in Ukraine we have a great website, register.court.gov.ua, and all court sentences starting from 2012 are published there, so without any registration you can enter that website, find some article from the criminal code, some court or justice and judge, and do your own research using those parameters. And the scope of my research included articles that I already mentioned, 361, 361.1, because these are the articles applied to real hackers, not just people who dumped some database from their office and decided to sell it and make some money, but people who hacked something real. But these articles are also, they also include some other cases which I didn't mention within the scope of my research, but I will mention them for you to better understand what are cyber crimes in Ukraine. So, when I started working on this subject, what did I expect? I expected that there would be a lot of cool hackers, a lot of Lamborghini cars they got from using money from their cybercrime, but in reality it looks quite different. These are just three examples of three things about court cases where Article 361 was applied. One of those terrible Ukrainian hackers got money from selling access to his botnet, and he got that money to his card he had as a university student. He got $3 to $5. I don't remember how much does it cost to get Lamborghini, but I believe it will take that guy quite a lot of time to earn his Lamborghini. Also, I had a good chance to talk to one of the guys sentenced under 361.1, creation and dissemination of malware, and there was something interesting in that. Our state penitentiary said this: when you only have this conditional sentence, as they have it, a postponed one, when you have to visit them every week, and they ask for some assistance, and they say, you help us, we help you, and some of the things they asked him for was to update their pirated copy of Windows, pirated copy of Microsoft Office. So how would that guy stop being a hacker if officers from the penitentiary service itself asked him to continue some cybercrime? And the third case, luckily we didn't have cases like that after 2012, but still we have people who got sentenced, they got real sentence, real prison term for selling soft-like aircraft. So, let us discuss some statistics first. The Unified State Registry of Court sentences was opened in 2012. So starting 2012, Ukrainian courts started entering all their cases in that register, and they're now publicly available. It's still difficult to judge what was going on before 2012, because first of all you have to submit a request to get information on any one case, and second, not always those cases are properly stored. There is reliable information that in many cases when you want to get information from some old case, it turned out that there was some fire in that court building and that case does not exist anymore, or it just gets destroyed over time, or as it recently happened in Kiev, they just left it on the window, and then all that court case was scattered by the wind across that street around that court building. On this chart you see the number of court cases by year, cases that were published on the registry. There is a very interesting peak in 2012, even though before that there was no data, but I will explain to you later what is this peak about. So on average there are about 25 to 30 sentences annually. Sentences under these Articles 361 and 361.1. Now it's quiz time. Let's try and guess what are the most popular types of cybercrime in Ukraine for which people get real prison terms. Do you have any ideas? Interpreters cannot hear. Yes, 105. Yeah, any other ideas? This is a different article, but also not bad. Interpreters cannot hear the answers from the audience. Somebody said porno. Porn. Okay, top 5 looks more or less like this. Top of the top is about cases where somebody had a GSM gateway at home. Do you know what GSM gateways are about? When you decide to launch a service like Skype for your clients to be able to use the internet to call Ukrainian numbers at low cost, because it's more expensive to use Skype. So you buy a special PC, you connect 40 modems, 40 SIM cards and those, and you provide that service. It's completely illegal in any country, but people want to make quick money, quick easy So this is top of the top. Number 2 is card sharing. You know what card sharing is about. You know, people like watching satellite TV, but companies having those satellite channels provide encryption. They send encrypted signal. So some people provide service whereby they send you a new key every several minutes, and you can watch NTV Plus and so on. So in most court cases, NTV submitted that claim. So if you organize the service, so you should be ready that you will be brought to court under Article 361. Number 3 in this list is my favorite one. To make it short, it's sponsored by Ubiquiti. And actually people get prison terms for installing their Wi-Fi Nano station. If you do a Google search using Nano station, across those court trials you'll get the results about say 20 court cases. What is the essence of those court cases? This is a strong Wi-Fi hotspot, and people don't know that channel 13 at 2.4 gigahertz in some countries, including Ukraine, should be licensed. And if you install a Wi-Fi antenna and you apply full power and you use channel 13, then there is high probability that police will approach you. It's not by chance that this is number 3 in this list, so take care. And the rest is about people who didn't have money to buy TV sets, so they decided to connect to a coaxial table in their building, a residential building, or maybe they would spoof MAC address and route other users of the same provider and so on. Do brute force attack on them and so on. The core question is how much people get under Articles 361 and 361.1. In most cases, say 96% of cases, is where people got real prison terms. So they are brought to jail, but then it's replaced with some conditional sentence. So you get 5 years of real prison term, but you get 1 year delay. So if you are okay for 1 year without committing any other crime, then you get acquitted. But if you do another crime, then automatically you go to jail for real term. So this is more or less, this chart shows more or less the distribution of terms under these articles. So it's more or less 3 to 1 year. Most people get just 1 year. It's not as terrible as 18 years in US prison for carding, but still not so nice. Real prison terms under these articles are just 4 cases within the scope of my research, where people would get 3 years, 6 years, 2 years. Like 5 people just got fines under these articles, but it was long ago. I'm not sure that they continue issuing fines under these articles. You cannot see these numbers properly, but I'll read them aloud. These are statistics about what were people doing those behind those top 5 positions. Those are very interesting cases, hackers from which you can learn something. First of all, these include pen testers, people who decided to check security of some web application, and they do it without any contract, and they do it from Ukraine into Ukraine, and they get a prison term under that article of the criminal code. Number 2 on this chart is all sorts of botnet owners, starting from people who just download something and repack some publicly available Ratnik and try to sell it to somebody through free ad newspaper, to some software genius geniuses who are not able to realize their skills in some legal industry, in some legal software development, so they decided to go for malware development. Number 3 and number 4, more or less the same frequency, is about skimmers. That is to say, people who install magnetic card readers in ATMs, still quite a popular way of making money in Ukraine, and malware authors. Not those who resell well-known botnets, but people who organize those, who develop something from scratch and get money for that.
We also had some cases where people have been sentenced for DDoS attacks, and in one case it was for DDoS attack at the Region Party Crimean branch, Crimean chapter. I thought that it would be difficult to sentence anybody for such a case, but one of our courts did it. We also had a couple of carders who manufactured copies of various cards and were caught when trying to buy something. Now, let's get to the specific cases. The case number 1622. There was a gentleman who found some malware in the internet and thought that there will be many consumers. So he placed an ad in a free ad newspaper stating that a destructive software can be bought from him, and he gave his telephone number. It goes under the malware distribution article, so he was sentenced. Next, unlucky tank commander who did not have any money to buy a tank for a tank game, and he borrowed a phone from his friend and sent 250 hryvnias to his own phone account, or paid SMS to the World of Tanks. And he was sentenced for sending paid SMSs to World Tank from somebody else's phone. Next case, I think many of you have heard about this, but anyway, a Kharkov researcher, not comparable with you all, just a beginner in malware analysis, was capable of finding NotPetya sample somewhere, so he decided to speak up about this new malware. He recorded a video and left 2 links to Google Disk and Rambler Disk where this sample can be downloaded from. And our court decided that it was dissemination of malware as long as you upload a malware that can be downloaded by children, for instance, to make a breach into their own computer. It's punishable. The next case was rather a surprise for me, and everybody knows that there is a special operation at the east of our country, and to move through the checkpoint you have to have permission from the State Security Service. So the registry for these permissions have been hacked, and hackers were able to issue their own permits. What was interesting and you can find it in the case materials, the case initiated after they have been caught. What I would like to stress, what's interesting, this is the topic related to the military sector, and the military should make better protection. Who heard about black energy virus? Many of you. And when? It was like 2016. But you see, the Ukrainian courts have sentenced somebody in 2010 when it was just an exploit. So Judge Bobkova has sentenced somebody for using black energy in 2010, much earlier than you find out that it existed. Another exciting fact for the people willing to make their own researches. Before 2012, the case numbers were unique within the framework of a single court. So the same number applies to dozens cases. So to find a specific case, you have to use the judge number. And after 2012, there is 3 block numbers divided by slashes, and the numbers are already unique. Another interesting case, it's related to the State Security Service actions in 2012. I don't know why they acted this way, but in 2012 there were at least 5 criminal cases, as you can see here from this bulleted list. These were the people who tried to sell some keyloggers or air crack, password recovery kit, forensic. Are there any forensic engineers here, by the way? Be careful. So these people tried to sell these tools to SBU people. Fortunately enough, there have been just 5 cases, and I sincerely hope that there will be no more cases like this. So, we have covered regular hackers, and now let's speak about the most famous Ukrainian hackers, cyber criminals. First of all, a person famous under the Nix Firecracker or a CC Fly. The investigation of his case in an American court, after he has been arrested in Italy and sent to the USA, shown that he was spreading Zeus malware and infected over 13,000 computers. So, his mistake was to bully Brian Krebs on Twitter. Never do it, because Brian Krebs was insulted by the fact that some guy is taunting him on Twitter, so he found out some information of Firecracker. At that point, the Silk Road eShop had existed for illegal goods. So he accumulated 0.7 bitcoins and sent a gram of heroin bought in this e-shop. So the plan was to deliver this package to Brian Krebs and then call the police. The flycracker's problem was that he posted this at the same forum where Brian Krebs was active, so Krebs informed the police in advance, and the delivery service has managed to deliver this heroin a day before. He managed to unbox this delivery, which, by the way, I would not do. But Brian Krebs called the police and informed them about this guy, the flycracker. So flycracker has been arrested in Italy in 2015 and thrown to one of the worst prisons in Italy. And as Brian Krebs said, there the fly managed to understand that he was not right. He pleaded guilty in 2016 and was sentenced. He got his prison term. He sent a letter to Brian Krebs from Italy, and Krebs said that he is open for communication and hopefully they are now communicated in the USA, where the fly, Mucha, will spend the next 15 years or so. My next story is about Carter Planet site. Are there people old enough to remember it? Oh yes, I'm happy to see you. So it was a semi-closed forum active in early 2000s, between 2001 and 2004. When it was closed, it had more than 6,000 registered accounts. It was the site for carders, for the criminals manipulated with the fake cards. They exchanged information, they sent software and dumps to each other. They posted guides on how not to be caught, and they even had warranty service. You were able to pay 10% commission to the site to guarantee your deal, a deal between you and somebody else to avoid situations when you are paying for like iPhone and get a brick of clay instead. So who created this website? One of his co-founders was Roman Vega, also known as Boa, who had Boa Factory site in the 90s. Then it has been arrested in Cyprus in 2003, and in 2004 he was sent to the USA and pleaded guilty in 2009, and he got 18 years in prison. However, it's not always that the government is using the same articles to catch criminals. Here you see the curious case of Dmitry Golubov from Petro Poroshenko party. The criminal American government using Secret Service, Postal Service, Securities and FBI tried to throw the parliament member to a prison. He lived in Odessa. He had got computers and he just was reselling the equipment for destroying hard disk drives. At least he had one device like this at his home when the police broke to his home. They tried to state that he was a hacker, but he was just reselling this equipment. But the region party members, parliament members, Vladimir Demyokhin, now late, and Vladimir Ivanenko, found the lawyers who helped him to prove that he was not guilty in a Ukrainian court. Oh. So, what the American government was saying, they claimed that he was apparently one of the co-founders of the Carter Planet and one of the organizers of this mafia-like structure. I am citing one of the state prosecutors. So, there was a ranking or rating system at this Carter site. There were a hierarchy of dons, lieutenants, and so on, driven by reputation and the level of influence. So he apparently was making money by sending fake cards and helping others to send those cards. Next is Avalanche Research Group, Avalanche Criminal Group, and this group was called Avalanche due to the mere scale of their operations. They created a service helping malware owners to disseminate this malware through their servers. This is an incomplete list of the malware that has been distributed through the site before 2016, when this service has been closed by joint operation of Ukrainian and American special services, law enforcers. They were using fast flux technology and double fast flux technology for malware dissemination, allowing you to upload malware in the way preventing the system from informing your hoster and administrator about the fact that malware was uploaded. Bonus. Let's learn to hack with an unified registry of the court decisions. First case, gas pump Queen. I like the court case materials because they are very informative. This is the case of 2017, where it is described in all details. You have all the complete exploit chain here to break into the gas station. You see, somebody pressed refresh in Excel. Then the Excel has opened Internet Explorer. The Internet Explorer provided access to the email box. Then he attached a file to his email, and using this software he has stolen some files. I'm not sure which files exactly, and then sent it back to his email box. So this is a creative approach to breaking into the gas pump station. Another guy had no money to pay his provider, but his good burp. He used brute force to find out what tariffs were available, and he substituted tariff number 42, which is 1 hryvnia for unlimited access, for his number 1 tariff plan. Unfortunately, it was just an internal tariff plan, and the hacker was caught because it's not a wise thing to hack your own provider, and the provider has initiated the investigation, and then the hacker was sentenced. It was an unfortunate case for him, and I think that he spent more on lawyers than he saved on the telephone communication. Now let's wrap up. First of all, get you a lawyer before you need one, because you never know how your life can change and what situation can be created by selling some or other software. So get a lawyer to protect you. I found out after reading an interview from one of the sentenced guys was that he was just manipulated. He was pressed by the guys who thought that he was guilty, and he came halfway, and he provided all the necessary proofs against himself to the people who were harmed by him. I think that our courts will better use the real proofs. Then, there have been some criminals not understanding that this is a criminal offense to have a high-power Wi-Fi antenna. I didn't know it myself. You may buy a device which is legal in one country, but illegal in some other country. I think that if there were any official dealers in Ukraine for Macrotics or Ubiquity, there would not have been any criminal cases against people who used them. You see here this link to my investigation report with a short description of the court cases. If you are interested to have a look at this information yourselves, by all means do, and I can help you in your study of the Unified Court Decision Registry of Ukraine. I would like to thank my friend Andrei Zozuluk, who is a junior and lawyer engineer. He advised me on legal cases. He translated the cases from legal wording to regular Ukrainian, and he enabled me to make this presentation. And I also thank you for coming here and for your attention. Thank you. May I ask the first question? It's about the burp. About person one changing his own tariff plans. So he was not willing to pay much, so he broke into the tariff list, and he found an internal tariff 1 hryvnia for 100 megabits. So do not use brute force to breach into your internet provider's network. Yeah, okay, you can use VPN or Tor, but how is it possible to brute force your provider under Tor? Well, you know, I use Burp myself, and often I think that one should not send any requests related to my applications or telephone numbers. But anyway, are there any more questions on the floor? I'm bringing you the microphone. And no quotation marks in the registry, because it's slow anyway. Are there any lady hackers in the registry? Yes, there are some. There were few girls involved in installing skimmers on the ATMs. It's a good question, and you can make your own research using the registry. There is no sex information, but you can judge from the gender which is there in Ukrainian language. By the way, it's an interesting topic for the next presentation. My question is about the use of the terms hacker and cybercriminal. What is the difference? Okay, cybercriminal is a person using his computer for illegal meddling with the internet, creating malware, and it's proved by the court. Hackers are people who are crossing the boards of possible and impossible in the use of the computer systems. We all are hackers. We are trying to find vulnerabilities and bugs. You answered the question about any lady cybercriminals. Is it so? Oh yes, it was. You had a slide about an interesting pen test from the court case registry. You see, if I publish a post about breaking a gas station, or about somebody else having hacked a gas pump station, I will be approached by the law enforcers. I will be held responsible about that. Yes, thank you for reminding me this point. Yes, it's just so. There are a lot of cases with the links to YouTube or Yandex Disk, and you can use these sites for malware distribution. At the other hand, you can make a statistical malware version analysis over this register. The question was, can I initiate a court case against the unified registry of the court decisions? Yeah, it will be an interesting topic. Are you going to initiate the case like this and then share the information with us? Oh, by the way, you mentioned a lawyer. Can you recommend one? Please look for a lawyer in your own city, because you will be arrested in your own time. So I can only recommend Lviv lawyers, and you look for Kiev lawyers. Another question in the back. And there are one more question, it will be last. First of all, I would like to thank the speaker. I think that the 6th UASG Con is remembered but by people of my age. I would like to cite the last situation with using burp. The case, the court decision was missing the fourth component of the proofs, and it was based on a plaintiff pleading guilty, otherwise he would be otherwise the court would have decided that he was unguilty. It was situation between burp user and ISP. It's nonsensical in the legal sense, because there were cases where the Article 361 was used. The earlier case was about connecting to cable TV. Yeah, thank you for drawing our attention to this point. And again, a knowledgeable person would say, find yourself a lawyer, say nothing, sign nothing, communicate with the law enforcers only through your lawyer. The last question. Do you have any statistical data on the bank crimes not related with the cards? Are there any cases? Yes, there are cases like this, and the major part is about illegal transactions with the use of Privat24. We can thank Privat Bank for helping law enforcers to investigate such cases. You see, people would steal the smartphones and then log in to Privat Bank, or the criminals use the social engineering techniques for the same crimes. I did not include these cases in my investigation because there were no hacking, no exploits and so on. And let's thank Pavlo again. Thank you, Pavlo.